So, this is going to be my review of Superman to Hell and Back. Technically, it's Superman Action Comics to Hell and Back, but semantics. This is another book that was sent to me by my friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again. This is part of the Philip Kennedy Johnson Action Comics run, which basically, in this half, after the Warworld saga that Kennedy Johnson has been doing, this story arc basically has a new Superman family, basically bringing in not just Kara, but also John and Connor, and also Kenan Kong, who is the Superman of China, as well as two twin children that Clark adopted while on Warworld. So the first story arc dealt with Metallo and also had the cyborg, also had Hank Henshaw, the cyborg Superman, but it was also kind of a build up to something else going on in the background. That being this One Earth movement that Kennedy Johnson has been building up in the background. So what I thought Volume 2 was going to be about was more build up in that storyline. Nope, this is more of a collection of backup stories that Kennedy Johnson did write, but also Dan Watters, who I just talked about his praise in the Destro novel, in the Destro comic, as well as Gene Yun Lang, who had been writing the new Superman of China comic. Like I said, even though this comic, while it is considered Volume 2 of this Action Comics storyline of the Superman family, it doesn't really connect with anything. It is more build up to other stuff, like obviously the big one is Doomsday's now in Hell after the events of Lazarus Planet. Doomsday got sent to Hell, and Kara and Martian Manhunter both team up to fight him. It's actually pretty cool. I wish we got instead of one big one shot, we got a whole miniseries of just Doomsday wrecking Hell. That'd been kind of awesome. Then there's also a new Bloodwin, a identity that Jean had for a bit back in the 90s. Then we have it's like I said, a collection of stories that don't really feel like they have anything of major note to what's going on currently in the comic book, in the storyline. I guess that's for Volume 3, which I think is coming out in November, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, even though it does kind of stop the momentum for what Kennedy Johnson is kind of building in the comic, it is still cool. Don't get me wrong, there is still enough interesting stories here to really play with. Like I said, I really enjoy the whole storyline of what goes on with Doomsday in Hell, and I do know that apparently gets built up in a later storyline in the current stuff going on. Among other things, we also have a two-parter written by Gene Yun Lang, who basically reveals that he's been part of the Superman family to kind of figure out a murder that happened in China after a reporter thought he had discovered Superman's identity and was killed by heat vision. It turns out that this was more of the work of Lex Luthor, who put in a psychic bomb in everyone's brain. Basically, if you found out Clark Kent was Superman, you instantly die. That's kind of crazy, honestly. That's way to take it up to 11, Lex, but I wouldn't expect anything less of you. So yeah. There's that. There was also a fun story with Connor, who apparently is dating Miss Martian in the DC universe now. I didn't know that was a thing. I guess to continue synergy with Young Justice. But with Young Justice canceled, I don't know how long that's going to go. But I guess, Connor's now is dating McGann? Okay, I didn't see that in the comics. But I guess, again, to keep up that Young Justice synergy, which, sure. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, when did they start dating in the comics? Then we had just a bunch of more short stories, like a date between John and his boyfriend, which was adorable. Then there was a fun short story of the Super Twins being babysat by Bippo Bubowski, which I always love a good Bippo story. And the Super Twins, I kind of they're growing on me. I wouldn't say they're my favorite yet, but they do. I feel like the reason why the Super Twins were brought in was because to fill in that kind of void that Brian Michael Bendis caused after making John a young adult. Like, I feel like that was the real reason why DC was like, all right, we let Bendis have too much control. Kennedy Johnson, what do you got? I got 2 super kids. Are you going to make them adults? Hell no. Got it. So, I feel like that was kind of the thought process behind it. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud, but would you be shocked if it was? The one story that I really enjoyed was the Night... They also have the Action Comics Night Terrors tie-ins, which Night Terrors was an event I did talk about. And in here, the kids are... the team is plagued by Cyborg Superman, who is caught in the same nightmare-scape, but he's trying to, like, manipulate it and make it his own. It's a great body horror kind of story. It reminded me a lot of the movie Virus, which I've talked... This is the second time now in recent time I've talked about the Jamie Lee Curtis movie Virus, but it's not a good movie either. It sucks. But it just reminded me of that film. So, yeah. All in all, it's a... it does take away from the momentum going on, but I guess Volume 3 will pick up with the whole One Earth movement and what goes on with the rest of the Superman family. It's still fun, though. Like I said, to see Kara and John team up to fight Doomsday in Hell, that's just awesome. And again, the Night Terrors tie-ins were great. Try saying that 5 times fast. So, all in all, pretty decent. Anyway, so once again, I'd like to thank my friend, not just my friend, my brother, Chris, for sending me this comic, and others. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.